here yet, you find yourself at a carnival. You received a handbill, could have been posted to your door or whatever. They just kind of magically showed up where you were looking, and everybody's handbill says something different. But the result of it was that you all, for some reason, came to check out this carnival. And I'm going to just go down the line and ask everybody what their handbill said to get them here. So, A, what did your handbill say? This carnival. And so I'm going to just go down the line and ask everybody what their handbill said to get them here. So on the handbill was something that you just couldn't resist showing up here. What their handbill said to get them here. So on the handbill was something that you just couldn't resist showing up here. Rat. What did yours say? So on the handbill was something that you just couldn't resist showing up here. Rat. What did yours say? Fargrim, what did yours say? Something that you just couldn't resist showing up here. Rat. What did yours say? I just said carnival. Fargrim, what did yours say? Something that you just couldn't resist showing up here. Rat. What did yours say? Okay, and George, what did yours say? Okay, and George, what did yours say? Cool. George, what did yours say? Let me guys give you the intro, and then I'll introduce you to some people at the carnival. So, let me guys give you the intro, and then get my voice on. I'll introduce you to some people at the carnival. So, let me guys give you the intro, and then I'm echoing. I'll introduce you to some people at the carnival. So, let me guys give you the intro, and then I'm echoing. I'll introduce you to some people. I believe I have fixed it. I appreciate that. But what happened was we lost... shit. Okay. Thank you, Dragon. Right. Here we go. Let me know if you have trouble understanding me.
Nah, you're good.
Welcome on, welcome all, welcome to the short and welcome to the tall. Welcome angels, welcome fiends, welcome to all from walks between. Welcome to the carnival. Step right up and lay your eyes on our menagerie of the macabre, our gathering of the grotesque, our collection of the curious, our festival of freaks. For a mere pair of copper coins, you can behold wonders beyond your wildest dreams and nightmares. Yes, that's right, folks. Just 2 thin coppers buys you a ticket to thrills and chilling revelations. Step right this way and through the first curtain. But not you, stranger. You stay here with me. I'm told that our gentle giant Hermos sent you my way. Seems you maybe like to disappear for a while, try something new, have an adventure. Out of curiosity, what brings you here? You try to plant a stake in the wrong fellow's heart, or are you just running out on some burgomeister's daughter? On second thought, just keep it to yourself. We don't care what you're running from, so long as you don't drag it here to our doorstep. I'm inside out when I say your visit could be more timely. I'm supposed to be running herd on all these new Georges, not just you. But another barker will have to walk the talk today. You look puzzled, stranger. Quite right. I'll bet you're having a little trouble following my words. Get used to it. Inside out just means honest. I'll give you that one for free. But don't expect too many more favors, because nothing comes free at the carnival.
So, you find yourselves in a collection of tents. You're in the city of Rethben. It is a open-air carnival. Beautiful... banners and things hanging from all the wagons, and you're talking to the barker. He seems to be waiting for you guys to suggest maybe why you're here, what you'd like to see.
Greetings. I was told there was a way to make an honest living here.
An honest living? Well, it's my job to take the George's coppers and make sure they keep their greasy little hands to themselves. I do that with my silver tongue. If you'd like to call that an honest living, well, so be it.
I'm just gonna sit at the bar and stare at the schoolers.
I think George is gonna walk up and say, George, your name's George? My name's George. This must be destiny.
Yes, George, it must be.
So what do you got going on inside this would you say, tent of freaks, you said?
We don't like to use that word, freaks. We use it, you're not allowed to use it. You haven't earned that right.
Fair enough, good sir.
Strange. What gives you this right to speak the word?
Well, these are our people, you see. And when we call each other freaks, it's all in good fun, but many a time we've had a George come through the carnival and poke fun and laugh, and it never ends well for the George, let me tell you. No, we're not freaks, we're just interesting people. Just like you. No more and no less. Well, maybe a little less. Maybe I should introduce you to the man, I'm going to introduce you to this guy. This is, I better warn you, George. We always lose a lot of reelers with this next trooper. Even the ones who didn't flinch watching Woodenhead impale himself on every sharp implement known to man. This is Mola, our very own living skeleton, quite the sight at 5 foot 6 inches, while weighing a mere 62 pounds. The low-cut gown was my idea. It shows off more of her bones without being too salacious, don't you think? Shocking and tasteful all at once, just the way I like it. You see that twitching in her chest? You're watching her heart beating against the inside of her ribs. Now, I'll admit I've seen a few characters walking about in worse shape than our Mola, but their hearts were no longer beating. See, Mola joined up with the carnival about 5 years ago. She wasn't alone, though. She and her brother Rotlands were a couple of mongrels from her shimmy, a pair of pickpockets tagging along with us, lifting coins from George's and running a few crooked games. So long as they didn't bleed the Georges too bad and didn't get in the way of the real carnies, his oldie looked the other way, and the rest of us didn't care. I've shocked you again, haven't I? Well, that's what I'm here for. It's just how I told you. As long as no one really gets hurt, we don't care what you do. True, the petty theft was a bit unsavory, and we would probably have put an end to it after a while, but the crooked games, well, those just play to the George's greed, so I say, more power to the squeeze. Even if you do still find their actions distasteful, I wouldn't blame Mola. Rasslid treated Mola more like a lackey than a sister. Granger's monkey might be even more fitting. Yeah, she was a raven-haired beauty then, and Rasslid would send her out to distract the Georges while he bled them dry, or better yet, he'd have her bleed them dry while he just counted his profits. Then the twisting started seeping into him, and that changed everything. The twisting's been a long, slow process for Mola and her brother. It took months for us to even realize it had set in. You see, Mola started losing weight. She's about 60 pounds lighter than she was when she arrived, and she's still losing about 6 pounds a year. That's where it gets a little scurry. She eats like a horse. Still, she keeps losing weight while her lazy brother never touches a bite, and yet, I think I'll let you discover Rasslid on your own. He's part of Pacali's crew in the Hall of Horrors. I guarantee you can't miss him. Well, Mola's beauty has faded away with the bounds, I'm afraid, but I think it's for the better. She didn't deserve to be reduced to a prop in her brother's schemes, and lately he tends to ignore her. One of these days she might even start to grow into her own person. Figuratively, of course. But for now she goes running whenever her taskmaster brother rings her bell. Such a pity.
What is this twisting you speak of? Is it the disease or what is it?
Well, the twisting happens to everybody who stays at the carnival for too long. It has a way of getting into your body and changing you. Seems that people tend to become more like their true selves when they're here. In fact, I see your friend Fairgrim, who you're traveling with, seems to already be a little bit different than when we saw him last week. I believe his nose looks a little bit smaller, his eyes a little bit slimmer, his mouth less full. Almost as if he's, I don't know. Just an observation, you know?
Is this...
Anyway, it's not a bad thing. It makes you different. It's great for people in a carnival, and if you guys are traveling with us, well, you'll probably feel the effects too. It's never permanent, but it does take a while to wear off, and the longer you stay with us, the worse it gets.
That doesn't sound good.
Doesn't. Do you know where the twisting comes from? Did it start at any time?
Well, questions like that are better left to those like Picali. Obviously, Isolde probably has an idea, but she's pretty hard to nail down and get an answer out of.
Seems like we've got to lead to something. Is Isolde? Where could we find her?
Oh, that's her tent right there in the center of the carnival.
What does she do around the carnival?
Oh, she kind of runs the place.
Okay. Anything else you guys need to ask? I've got my promise here for an adventure. I think I found something.
What do you do with the skeletons?
Sorry, what was that?
What do you do with the skeletons?
Oh, they're just part of the show. See her, see her moving around, dancing her little dance. Really, the Georges just come to get a little bit of some excitement from it. You know, it's not often you see a skeleton walking around, dancing, moving, talking to people, but, you know, that's what the carnival's all about, seeing stuff out of the ordinary, stuff that you don't expect.
Okay.
Yeah, she's not just a skeleton, she's a living skeleton.
How do you tell if it's a girl or a boy skeleton?
Well, Molly came to us as a girl. It was only after a few months that she began developing a thinner appearance.
Okay. You guys want to go check out your boss lady?
Sure, sounds good.
So Isolde's tent is in the middle of the circle. These wagons are kind of arranged in a circle, and there's a good 40 yards between hers in the center and the rest of them. It's unlike the others. There's no banner or anything on hers. Does have a door, no windows. It's still tied up to the donkeys, which are just hanging out.
Is it a house instead of a tent, or what?
It's a wagon. So tent and wagon I'm using interchangeably. There's no tents here, but there are tent-like shapes on the wagons. So they'll have curtains and things, and when they park, they put up, stages and stuff right around the wagon. But the center of each of these kind of things is the wagon that the person lives and travels in. So she doesn't have any tent-like decorations on hers.
Can we just walk in there? Is there no guards or anything?
You're sure? So you walk up to the wagon, and you don't hear any activity inside. You knock on the door, and there's no response. You try the handle, and it is locked. She could be roaming around. No windows.
There.
Fargrim, what do you know about Isolde?
I'll say it
You met her, right?
No, we actually haven't. The party I was haven't met her. We saw her, like, we were involved towards the end of the first confrontation that happened in the very first session. However, we're the group that found out the most about Zola. Basically, what's happening is Zola is essentially the reason why the twisting's happening. Pretty much to explain it to you guys, wherever the carnival goes, wherever it goes, the crops or the harvest, what particular place where the carnival is staying at, usually goes bad or something happens to it. Bad crops, pretty much like other omens too, that we don't know of. However, even though Zolo's responsible for it, it found out that she's part celestial, or she's talking to some godlike being, due to her broken celestial that we eavesdropped in her conversation. However, she is responsible for the bad crops going around, but she's sorry, but she makes an excuse by essentially saying that the people that are being affected by the twistings whenever they leave essentially deserve it. In other words, she's pretty much being like a typical religious fanatic. So other than that, that's as far as we know. There was a letter that, one of the party members in my previous party looked at, and pretty much, it aroused our suspicions and pretty much realized that, she's the troubling aspect of it. However, there's more parts of it going on that we don't know, and all we know is there's some godlike being that she's in communication with regarding this situation, among other things that are probably going to come up in the future. So that's what we know so far, and yeah, so pretty much wherever she goes, pretty much bad crops follow her wake. Like, she's pretty much like a kind of like a blight, not like a blight. I guess kind of like a walking blight just with crops.
That's enough. I think everybody's up to speed on it.
Yeah.
She's corrupting the land. Okay.
Technically, yeah.
So there was another name that you heard that we could explore today, and that's Pakali. So Pakali in his Hall of Horrors. Pakali's like the kind of the barker or the manager of the most fearsome of the quote-unquote freaks, the troopers. We could go over there. He's not the head guy, but he is a head guy.
Yeah, sure. House of Horrors. Sounds fun.
I'm always up for
Right.
meeting new people.
What was that guy's name, Sage?
Pakali?
Pakali? Just writing down this.
Okay. So, where are we? This is such a long book.
Yeah. By the way, one more question. Does Isolde actively run the carnival, or is she just there and the people follow her?
She's like protecting, like, she's kind of like the head, but she's like, she watches them, they watch her kind of thing.
Okay.
She protects them, they do carnival stuff, I guess. How was it was explained, so.
Okay.
All right. So you ask around for Pakali, And the troopers generally point you in the right direction. And you walk in to... Well, you don't walk in. You walk up to the wagon. And there is a man sitting at a table. He has long gray hair, well, about shoulder-length gray hair, and mutton chops, if you will. Thin glasses that sit far down on his nose, kind of half frames. And he's wearing a beautiful long robe. And he would say to you,
Professor Pacali at your service, sir. I'm the so-called Barker for the Hall of Horrors. Barker, what a demeaning term. I worry for the mental health of those who had patterned their sense of self on stray dogs. But you're not a paying customer, so why don't we dispense with the lingo? I have observed you being led around the carnival, or should I say misled. You strike me as the sort who appreciates the straight truth, unfettered by backward gypsy superstition or the misanthropic vernacular of a performing freak. Do you wish to know the true nature of Isolde's carnival? You shall find it past that inner tent flap. But we must wait a moment before entering. The so-called Skura are preparing the hall for presentation to the public. In the interim, allow me to properly welcome you to the Hall of Horrors. This is the main event, what others so crudely dub the Big Squeeze. After that fraudulent buffoon Tyndall shows the paying clientele a few worthy selections of our resident freaks, he drops them off here and leaves them to me. For an extra pair of coppers per individual, I admit them to the hall, such as it is, where it is my task as lecturer to reveal monstrosities the likes of which put those misbegotten creatures outside to shame. Here we house the true horrors of the carnival, or so goes the spiel. In case you're wondering, my title is no mere puckery. Puckery. Such a quaint euphemism for fraud. No, stranger, I assure you that I earn these robes just as I earn the title professor. I'm a true man of learning, not like several traveling charlatans I could name. In my earlier days, before Isolde's carnival tore my life from me, I was a tenured scholar at the Meridian Institute, studying matters of abnormal physiology. Of course, I also lectured, graciously sharing my wisdom with particularly gifted students. 5 years ago, the carnival camped near the Institute's grounds, and quite naively, I admit, I considered the physical deformities endemic to its performers to be fascinating, in the professional sense. Foolishly, I allowed my intellectual curiosity to get the better of me. I chose to take a sabbatical, traveling with the carnival for a time to study these biological prodigies in depth. Have they warned you of the twisting yet?
Warned? Not really warned, but close enough.
Sounds quite horrifying.
Well, mark yourself lucky and unusual on that count. Most who come to the carnival are permitted to discover this wretched betrayal of the flesh on their own, which is precisely the fate that befell me. You are quite right. I have, through blind luck, escaped the more pronounced disfigurement, which affects most of the carnival's members. I am not a freak like them, but the twisting has still ensnared me such that I cannot return to the life I knew before. Precisely how I have been affected is no one's concern but my own. Since the others consider my appearance regrettably mundane, I have found myself in the role of a guide, a lecturer, a barker, if you must. Step inside into this canvas vestibule, as it were. I also earn my keep by procuring the bottled abnormalities you see displayed around you. They serve as a kind of hors d'oeuvre to whet the customer's appetite for the horrors lurking deeper within the tent. I like to call these bottled little wonders Pacali's pickled punks. Here, take a tinderbox. You can make yourself useful by helping me light the lanterns beneath the jars. I find lighting these small monsters from below helps to accentuate their inhuman nature. Vile little things, are they not? Each one a mixture of the innocent and the fiendish. I assure you these infernal infants are quite real, but just how I obtained them for my collection must remain a professional secret, you understand. Each one was born drawing breath, but they were all too wretched to live. When I first started gathering my collection, I thought to call them demon seeds, but our exalted mistress Isolde found that in bad taste. Such irony. However, when I mentioned to some of the carny cretins that I preserved my sinister sucklings in alcohol, some freak or other hit upon Professor Picali's pickled punks. Although I found the name rather overblown at the time, I must now admit it does carry a certain ring. To halt their decay, the punks must be kept secreted away beneath this canopy, hidden from the ravages of the sun. Of course, it also preserves their value as an exhibit. We wouldn't want them sitting out in the open where they could see patrons, where the patrons could see them without paying. You must forgive my slip. I've spent years with these malformed creatures, yet even I still find them unnerving at times. Note how their dead eyes almost seem to follow you around the room. Eerie, is it not? Certainly worth the extra coins to see. I assume you can hear the inhuman gibbering coming from behind the inner curtain, from within the hall proper. Our helpful little gypsies must have finished digging the display pit. I'll take you into the hall in a moment, but first let us be sure you understand what you are about to face. If you were a regular customer, I would tell you that the pickled punks in the jars died at birth, and then I would tell you that monstrosities just like them lie behind the curtain, except that these creatures are alive and fully developed, having survived into adulthood. That, of course, would be a lie. Had Tyndall delivered you to my exhibit, he would have promised that within this ring of wagons we keep only the true horrors, the only true monsters, the only true freaks in all the carnival. That, too, is a damned lie. Before we step into the ring, you must understand the true source of the horrors you are about to face. Your lecture now begins with Picali's truth about Isolde. You could hear the capitalization there. The truth is that we are all freaks, all transformed into monsters by the one true horror at the heart of this carnival, Isolde herself. What have you been told so far? That Isolde is a beneficent patron? That she speaks with gods? That the twisting is some bizarre form of justice? Perhaps Fortuna offered you her fumbling theories of mystic prisons and fallen angels. Everything you've been told to this point has been a lie. A lie those freaks tell themselves to avoid the real truth. A lie that makes their existence tolerable. Fortunately, some of us may have the courage to face the truth of our situation, bleak as it may be. I can sum up Madame Fortuna's hobbled explanation of the twisting in a few words, and I can be more accurate as I do so. Fortuna believes Isolde is an angel cast down from the heavens. She is correct in that Isolde is an inhuman entity of immense power, one which originates in a plane of existence beyond our comprehension. The mistake made by Fortuna and her kind is that when they seek to discover Isolde's place of origin, they peer at the skies when they should be looking down. Here's the pure truth. Isolde is a demon from the deepest abyss, and the twisting is caused by her reality wrinkle.
That is bizarre and interesting.
Yes, well, it is the truth and nothing but it.
Wait, wouldn't she go to hell with Lucifer then?
I'm not familiar with this Lucifer creature of which you speak.
I don't know, some old legend my dad used to talk about.
Your dad must have been a farmer or some sort. They have different gods way out in the sticks.
It might be rude of me to ask, but what did the twisting do to you?
That is from my concern and none of yours.
Now what you said might be a truth, but how do you come up about finding that truth?
Why, sir, I'm a respected scholar. I know these things to be true, for I've studied them.
So what you're saying is you studied Sola? Or are you just making a basis presumption that that's what has to happen? I just find it very strange that she knows from a conversation that one of my colleagues overheard that she does speak Celestial, and last time I recall, demons don't speak that language.
My friend, I can speak Celestial.
Yeah, but you're
It
a scholar.
simply takes a...
Yeah, you're a scholar, though.
Many creatures can take a class.
I just find it something so unworthwhile. Why would somebody go out their way to learn a language, just to keep something under wraps or to talk to another person? I just find that there has to be another objective in mind, or there's something that's uncovered something that's covered that needs to be uncovered.
You look confused. Perhaps I have overestimated your ability to grasp such things.
No,
Very well, I shall explain further and take you into my trust. You see, I have a certain ally outside the carnival. A gentleman who prefers to remain anonymous. If Isolde learned of his defiance of her will, it would surely cost him his life. During one of my sabbaticals away from this freak show, this gentleman sought me out. He opened my eyes to Isolde's true nature and answered all my questions by presenting me with a most invaluable tome. The book is entitled Guide to Fiends, and it was penned by Rudolf von Richten, one of the greatest students of the unnatural in all the domains. Have you read it? I thought not. You don't strike me as the academic type. No matter. Let us examine Fortuna's theory. She claims that Isolde is a being of intense goodness. She also insists our entire world is tainted with evil. Presumably she includes decent folk such as you and I among their number. She claims that Isolde's mere presence thus frays the fabric of reality, and that the phenomenon as we know as the twisting is the result. Is the result of Isolde's attempts to limit this damage. A rather overworked theory, in my opinion, and I have found that in most scholarly matters, the simplest explanation is always the most accurate. The simple explanation: Isolde is a demon, and her corruption seeps into reality around her. Within this aura, Isolde's power is so vast that she can bend reality to her whims. This aura of evil, called a reality wrinkle, at least in Dr. Van Richten's work, radiates far enough from Isolde to fit the entire carnival within it. I have measured its extent by observation, and it extends 300 paces from her person in all directions, almost precisely the diameter of the carnival, after the Skura have circled the wagons. Isolde is indeed the direct source of the twisting, but she does not warp people's bodies to make everyone equal or honest, as her faithful claim. Her fiendish goal is simply to make everyone monstrous, to transform these downtrodden, easily manipulated cretins into creatures who can never find acceptance amid a normal, decent society. She thus shackles us all into her servitude, and, most obscenely, she makes her victims love her for it.
Now, before you continue, I had a quick question. You said something about the skooma. You said 300 paces, and you said something regarding skoomas after they do their circle or something like that. So, would there be a possibility that the skooma are also involved with her, or
the Skura? It measures 300 paces from her person, which is exactly how far the wagons are circled by the Skura.
It's from her person. Does it follow her in this zone?
It does.
So the wagons are like her boundary marker?
No, of course not. She can go wherever she wants. If she was to leave the carnival, the twisting would follow her and be 300 feet away from her. I have observed this. I am a scientist.
That's what I was going to ask. So basically, she just has an allure pretend around her, and wherever she goes, it follows, kind of thing, correct?
Yes, her reality wrinkle. It is a shame you have not read Dr. Van Richten's book. Certain circumstantial evidence indicates Isolde may in fact be a succubus, formerly calling herself Elsipeth. Isolde first appeared to Hermes' band of freaks in northern... what was this? In the EI Wildlands. And Elsipeth was last reported being seen in the EI Wildlands, and she vanished roughly the same time Isolde first appeared. However, I freely admit there exists some evidence against this connection, so identification remains merely a pet theory. Nonetheless, the basic fact of Isolde's fiendish nature is undeniable.
Now, who's Elsipeth?
A well-known succubus who disappeared about the same time that Isolde arrived.
Succubus. What else can you tell me about the succubus?
What can I tell you about the succubus or this succubus?
About all of them. Weaknesses, what they're good at, what they do. I mean, I've heard they charm people, but not much more than that.
I heard they suck out your souls and leave you with a rash.
Doesn't sound very similar to what this one's doing.
Well, the succubus is not required to suck one's soul out. In fact, they are just lesser demons. In this case, Isolde has found a way to bring all these people and creatures into her servitude and to make them love her for it. Is that not what a succubus really does? Takes your soul and makes you love her for it?
Right, but why is she sorry for it, though? That's what I don't get. Like, wouldn't she not care about the other people around her, or the blight that she leaves in her wake? I just feel like it's kind of contradictory to what a succubus would do, rather than somebody that's, good-hearted or, has good intentions. That's how I look at the situation. I don't really see people, wanting to go down and serve her, kind of thing. As per situation with you haven't, found to her will, or as you would say, and sources that I had, or situations that I was involved in, she seems totally opposite of wanting to, force everybody against her will. So I'm just kind of, looking at your analysis and kind of interested by it, but it seems to me that the person you had to didn't necessarily have all the information, or still secret information. That's basically what you say.
You said you heard her talking in Celestial, correct?
Yeah, two of us.
And do you know who she was talking to?
No, because what happened was everyone went deaf, and then what happened is we heard the Skuma talk, the Skura.
The Skura do not talk.
Right, but you're right, but they talk in their dance. And we heard their voices.
That's preposterous.
I mean, it's something that we experienced and understand that you might believe, or might have information saying otherwise. They speak within their dance, and that's how they communicate with each other.
I don't know about
Let me ask one final question.
But I know a woman says a lot of things in a dance.
What?
The final question I have for you is, you heard her talking to a celestial creature. How can you be sure that's the only person that she talks to?
No, you're right. I didn't say you're right regarding this situation. She'd probably be talking to a lot of other people, but the situation that I experienced was she talked to a higher celestial being, and what happened from that situation is we became deaf, and then we heard the skooma talk within their dance, and that was the end of it. So you're right. She could be talking to many people. She could be talking to one person, but the only person that really knows is, Sola herself. I mean, we can always base everything on assumptions and just stuff that we have available, but in the end, it's still a hypothesis, and there still needs to be more information gathered to come up with a conclusion.
Yeah, it sounds like very contradictory.
I will say this. Fortuna turned you on to this idea that Isolde is a fallen angel. But Fortuna is simply wrong. I see the gypsies have completed their excavation. I invite you now into the Hall of Horrors itself. For the moment, I'll ask you to ignore the burbling, hissing, and moaning, and all the other inhuman sounds which emanate from behind the heavy curtains. Those curtains drape the so-called lockboxes, the wagons with bars. I must warn you to be cautious when we're inside. Do not step too close to the pit in the center of our circular hall. That low wooden barrier surrounding the edge is as flimsy as it appears. Now I would like to introduce you to some associates. No, these people I've gathered are not the so-called horrors you've been promised. I'm saving that tour for the end. These are simply more troopers, just like the others you have met, with the misfortune, perhaps, of being more twisted. And unlike the others, I count them among my true friends. Troopers, again, a pathetic reliance on euphemism. Why not call the carnival what it is? Why not call it the freak show? Now, before I make my introductions, I should warn you that some of my allies have what you might consider a checkered past. Sadly, this is to be expected. That diabolic creature Isolde seems to take particular pleasure in weeding out those who have fallen into shadow. As the case may be, she gathers up people who have lost their moral compass, those who are teetering dangerously on the brink between good and evil. She then corrupts their bodies, thus isolating them from any decent person who might have led the poor soul back into the light. However, it is not my place to judge my fellow man. I freely admit I am not without flaws myself. All I ask is that you greet my associates with an open mind. Regardless of any regrettable deeds in their past, they are all now united by a noble cause. Out of all the carnival folk, my associates are the only ones able to see through Isolde's honey-coated lies. They are the only ones willing to admit that the twisting has nothing to do with metaphysical justice. They are the only ones willing to admit that they have been transformed into monsters, and they are the only ones willing to do whatever it takes to save our souls, all our souls, stranger, even yours. Now that you understand the situation, I would like you to meet the first of my allies. Not so long ago, was just a normal fellow, just as normal as you are now, but the twisting tainted his flesh. Is it not bad enough that he now suffers from this infirmity? Why add insult to injury by calling him the Gargantuan? This poor grotesque soul would prefer if you call him by his true name, Rossalid Craven. I assume you have met his sister Mola, the living skeleton? You should be honored to see Rossalid here. It was no small feat for a man of his considerable girth to leave his wagon. Like Mola, Rossalid was quite sound when he first came to the carnival, a darkly handsome man. What lies before you now is over a half-ton of blubbery flesh. It does not matter that Russell abstains from food. Indeed, he has not eaten a bite since the twisting affected his atrocious swelling, yet he continues to gain weight, at least 60 pounds a year. Those gypsy clowns have had to reinforce his wagon twice, and it's the largest in the camp. If this twisting does not end, the day will surely come when the wagon will no longer be able to support him. He will be left behind, being helplessly smothered by his own weight. When Russell had first came to the carnival, he personally oversaw a number of games of chance and tests of skill. Now his bulk largely restricts him to his display wagon, and he must rely on the assistance of others to survive. And for what sin did he deserve such disfigurement? Rigging a few games, separating a few fools from their money? Perhaps not behavior I can condone, but surely you see the punishment exceeds the crime.
Wow.
You guys all went mute. What happened?
Oh, you were done talking? I thought you were gonna talk about the other people.
That guy's kind of just staring at it right now.
So what you're saying is the way he cheated on some of the carnival games led him to what he is today.
I can't imagine how that would be the case. Though the carnival has twisted him into something that is an abomination, a true horror among horrors.
It's pretty gluttonous, if I might say.
Not his fault.
Sure, he's done nothing before he went to the carnival? Do you know his past?
No. I mean, of course he scammed a few people here and there, but nothing so truly terrible that would result in a punishment like this.
How permanent is this? Is something that...
Well, once you've been here as long as he has, it's probably for life.
So what all does he look like?
Does the fat man look like?
Yeah.
Well, he is apparently naked, sitting in front of you. He looks like he weighs well over 1,000 pounds. Think, what's that TV show where there's really, really fat people? He looks like that, except on the higher end of what those people look like. So,
yes,
1,000 pounds, 1,200 pounds.
He's pretty gluttonous, if I might say.
His skin hangs off of his body. He looks naked, but you can't tell because you really can't see his legs. His belly is just
so basically
engulfing
he's so
him.
fat that he just has layers of fat on him that just like overlap and stuff.
Exactly.
All right. My character would say, "Dang, looks like she's got some sort of divine punishment kick going."
Echo. I think that's the point he's making.
Now, I know the gods. And the gods are just. The gods are fair. If this was a divine punishment...
Right.
I didn't say it was right. I just think that's what she might think in her head.
I just wanted to correct you. There's only one God.
There are many gods, my son. There are many gods. And I know of many gods. As a scholar and as a believer, I have seen things which your small mind could not even dream of. Now, I will tell you this. The gods are just, even those which tend towards evil. They do not hurt people just to hurt them. There is no God which would make this man in the state that he is in for simply scamming a few games at a carnival. There is no entity in the world that would do that. Except for Isolde and her desire to make this man part of her show. He cannot leave, you see. Where would he go? What would he do?
It is unusual. But a man who doesn't eat gains weight. Who eats a lot seems to lose it.
And his sister eats 60 pounds but doesn't seem to gain it.
I don't know if he could go anywhere. Looks like he's a little grounded.
Has his sister been eating 60 pounds the whole time? And is he been eating nothing the whole time?
That is correct. She eats like a horse and gains nothing, and he never eats and cannot lose the weight.
So you guys ever thought that whenever she eats, he gains that weight?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
That is an interesting theory.
Because she eats like a horse, but she doesn't gain the weight. But he doesn't eat anything, and he gains the weight of eating like a horse.
I say relay this. I mean, you're a scholar. It's a theory you should test out.
Hold on, I'm reading. He goes back to his book, entitled The Carnival, and reads the DM-only section. Yes, well, I think your theory is supported by the facts. It is an interesting experiment I would love to run. I will force Mola to stop eating.
Yeah, might change things up a bit.
No, well, let's move on. Stranger, I would like to introduce you to Janira Kurant, or, as the atrociously exaggerated banners announce her, the Squid Woman. When the original members of the carnival first visited Meridia, they were cast out as monsters. When they went back 3 years later, under the leadership of Isolde, they were invited to perform for Azalin Rex herself. Naturally, Isolde's presence gave the troupe a certain level of respect in the eyes of our fallen monarch. Wait, what?
Yeah, but what?
I have no idea. I have no idea what that just said. Anyway, the carnival went to the king's castle, and the king paid the freaks very well for their performance. This troupe gained something else too. Shortly after this visit, the carnival picked up a new guest, a so-called mongrel. She was a rather plain pickpocket, and it went entirely unnoticed that she was also a Phoenix agent, one of the matron's spies. Now, the king was no idiot, you see. He knew Isolde was very special, and he had ordered this spy to observe Isolde's actions. However, the agent was not warned of the twisting. In respect to my late king, I shall assume that he was not aware of this phenomenon and thus had no warning to offer. And so, stranger, I present Tanira Karat. For she is the very agent of whom I speak. I assure you, when I learned of Tanira's true loyalties, I was just as shocked as you must be now. As a son of Meridia, I was raised to fear Hadakura's secret police. But I assure you, everyone here standing at this moment knows who our foe truly is. Take it as a sign of Isolde's menace that I can stand by a phoenix and confidently declare her my ally. In fact, you may say that Tanira is my right-hand man. Forgive my insensitive humor. Tanira hates it when I call her that. As you can see, she is no man, and she has no hands. Like Rassilid, like myself, like all decent people who linger too long near Isolde, Tanira was quite normal when she first came here. Then the twisting claimed her, of course, as you can see for yourself. Now she has no shapely forearms, no lovely hands or fingers, just a writhing cluster of pinkish tentacles sprouting from each arm just below the elbow. At least the tentacles are functional. She can still grasp objects and may even shake the hand of anyone who is not too squeamish. And why did she receive this fate? Perhaps it was Isolde's way of indicating that she knew Tanira's true purpose for joining us. Perhaps Isolde was simply marking Tanira as Hadakura's tentacle. Whatever Isolde's purpose for warping this poor woman, it made Tanira entirely unsuited to work as a spy. What good is an agent who can't even pass as a normal person? Sadly, the result was predictable. Hadakura eventually lost interest in Isolde, or so it seemed, and he abandoned. Sorry, I keep saying Hadakura. It's Ura. It's the King Ura. Ura eventually lost interest in Isolde, or so it seemed, and he abandoned his now useless assistant. Essentially, he damped Tanira to this living purgatory. By the time I arrived and we joined forces, she had been all but forgotten by her superiors, and now she has truly nowhere else to go. She reaches out to shake your hand. George.
Oh, hello, Squid Lady.
How do you do? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Quite nasty what the Isolde did to you.
Quite a terrible thing. But what can we do about it?
Well, that's what I want to know. What can we do about this?
Well, you could... Oh, sorry, let me change my voice.
Well, you could kill her.
Yes, but how do you kill a succubus that can twist reality around itself?
That's a great question. Let me know if you figure it out.
Don't worry, little miss. These temples are going to be hard at work. And then he rubs his temples like concentrating until he farts.
She smiles. You almost got airborne with that one, didn't you?
Well, if I have a little bit extra time, I can reach 10 feet.
I just wanna know, are knees, from the knees, are there tentacles as well? Or is it only your hands?
Only her hands. From the elbows down, looks like about 7 tentacles on each arm. Otherwise, she looks like a normal person. Pretty, perhaps.
Can't imagine those hands are too useful for pickpocketing these days.
No, and I got out of that work quite a long time ago.
You were a pickpocket? Did she have you do all kinds of weird stuff in her service?
I was in the service of King Ura, and yes, there were some things that went on that could be considered weird. I was once sent west to retrieve a captive. This captive was not like any man I had ever seen. Tusks, a pig's snout. You see, I used to adventure with Zhao Feng, the bloodletter.
Ah, for a minute there, I thought you were going to say man, bear, pig.
You worked for the king, and you came as a spy, right? What did you gather before this?
Well, there were some things that I picked up while I was walking around talking to the people here. But there were many more that I had hoped to learn, that I still hope to learn about Isolde, about her true nature. This was one of the secrets I had intended to take back to Ura. When I found out that she was a fiend, a succubus, it was too late for me to leave. I had already been transformed.
What keeps you here? What keeps all these people here?
Sorry, what? What keeps all these people here?
Yeah, what stops you from just walking out of here?
Well, where would we go? What would we do? What would Rosalind do as a 1,000-pound man? What would Mora do as a living skeleton? What would I do with squid arms?
What would Picali do as a normal-looking guy?
Picali is still studying, is he not? He
True.
stays around because there's still things left to learn.
Sure, I guess. It's a bit weird. Yeah, but is there anything?
And Picali joined after I did as well.
Is there anything you can tell me about just the other people here? Not per se Zol, but the other people walking around. Berkshire pulled the Barker at the front. What's he doing all this? What's his mark from the
actually very similar to Rosalind's. While Rosalind does not talk, and you see him only as a fat man, both of them have silver tongues. Both very charismatic individuals. Of course, Rosalind is frequently depressed due to his weight, but if you get to know him, a charmer if there ever was one.
Sounds like you care for him.
It's not that I care for him in the way that you're insinuating, but he is a friend. One of few here.
Have you guys ever thought about just making your own group away from Isolde and just, being farmers? It's not a bad life. You just set your own hours and grow your own food.
I'm a better fighter than I am a farmer. Always was.
Alright, who's next?
Well, I can keep introducing you to somebody, to people all day long, and there's like 50 people I could introduce you to, but the idea is you find somebody and try to find something to do as far as a quest goes. By the way, for the new guys here, experience is awarded as follows. You get 1 point of experience for contributing to a quest with a predefined outcome. So that would be go and find X. And you find X, you get 1 point of experience. You get 1 point of experience for sharing something about your backstory with anyone. And you get 1 point of experience for progressing the Rotlands quest, the main quest, learning something new about the Rotlands. It takes 4 points of experience to level up. So most of you you've all learned something about the Rotlands. You've learned that this woman was a spy who brought back a tusked beast from out that direction. More will be revealed about that later. And I think all of you have shared something about your backstory. So the only thing left for you to do is find a quest. Now, if you'd prefer to just make your quest meet everybody that we can do that.
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. You guys want to do anything in particular?
I was gonna ask the lady if she needed any help with anything.
Okay, then we could do that.
And there's also the worst monsters in the back that the Kali was talking about.
Oh, that's his show thing.
Yeah, his show. I'm not sure what that's all about. Sounds interesting to me, at least.
So you want to see the show?
I had a quick question. With the man-tusked beast, wouldn't there be any chance that he's part of the carnival?
She would tell you no, he is not here.
But you guys do have a guy that wears a hood, and he does have tusks, and he's like a man beast at the carnival, though.
The last I saw of the tusked man, he was rotting away in some Meridian dungeon. But that was years ago.
Oh, so, I mean, like, she wouldn't be, like, to be able to point out this dude if, like, we would show her somebody that looks like someone like that?
She could tell you what he looked like.
Okay, that's fine.
He looked like a tusked man with a pig snout, short, maybe 4.5 feet tall, and her quest was to go and retrieve him from just outside the Rotlands, inside the White Sea. And she and Zhao Feng and 2 others traveled out there. She was the rogue. They took him prisoner and brought him back to the king. She has not seen him since then.
So, my lady,
there wasn't like no reason why that she was charged with gathering this guy. Like, no one knows. She just got ordered like just to grab this dude.
Well, she was one of the matron's adventurers. She was a spy for the matron, and the matron picked 4 of her best adventurers to take this quest. Zhao Feng was the leader, and Zhao Feng would be the one who knew the why and whatever about what happened. She was just a lackey. In fact,
so like no questions asked.
You're kind of getting the sense that, she's a better follower and fighter than she is a leader.
Yeah. And she's following.
And you might also get the sense that she's kind of an enforcer here. She looks tough.
That's the person that's the Kali, right?
Correct.
That's his name, right? Kali.
Pakali, yes.
Anyway, my lady, is there anything we can do here to make your life easier?
To make my life easier. I didn't have anything planned for her because I didn't expect us to get this far down the list. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I got something for you. There's this new guy at the carnival. He's a magician of sorts. There's something weird about him. I'm not sure if well, one of his most popular acts is to make people disappear by making them lie inside his crystal coffin. And he makes them all reappear at the end of the act, but something just strikes me as odd about what he's doing. If you could, he's asked me to lie in his coffin. I've told him no. It's just, it's bothersome.
Now, do anything happens to the people that disappear? Like anything changes in them?
No, they all come back, but they act slightly different. Like angry, mean. I don't know. It's probably all in my head.
Does he say some type of spell or something?
Show us where the magician does his act at, and we'll go and check it out.
Yeah, he's at the far end of the carnival. He's one of the new arrivals, so he's all the way at the back.
You guys want to go to the magician?
I do not like the idea of strange things happening to more people than is necessary.
And what's worse is they're Georges. You don't like to see the Georges angry. You want to keep them calm. They spend more money like that, and every time they get out of this coffin, some of them have been just stark raving mad when they get out. One of them attacked a small child, brutally beating him, and the carnival was over for about 2 hours.
That's horrible. I hate being angry. Those other Georges.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt, but I've got like a second of lag between when I talk and when it shows up for you guys.
But when you eat.
I was wondering as well. I wanted to ask Ternera, I think her name is, the Squid Woman. Why do people keep calling you and the people around her keep calling everyone George? Is it habit or?
That's not really important, but it's just like a word for customer.
Okay, it's just a bit strange. Maybe it's something to do with all that. Okay.
George is any mundane outsider, a paying customer seeking entertainment, a sucker.
Got him.
It's just funny because I named my character George.
Well, your mother's named you George, and it would seem that they were accurate.
No, my mom knew a lot of things. She was way smarter than Mom.
I say let's search out the wizard then.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. You head across the carnival, and you come to the wizard in the middle of one of his acts, and he's giving this big speech to the crowd. When you're watching, and he takes someone from the crowd, puts him in the crystal coffin, and he's saying, "Just wait. As soon as I say the magic words," and he says some magic words, abracadabra, shazam. And now look, the person is gone, disappeared from the coffin. And here, I shut it back, and then abracadabra, shazam. Like they never left. And the person steps out of the coffin.
Maybe it's somebody that's good with magic might want to do a check or something, you know?
Yeah, can I use my Arcana to see if he's actually performing magic?
I've got fuck all Arcana.
Sure. You can make an Arcana check.
I don't know. I'm from a farm. I don't understand what people do with magic these days.
Whole 8.
It's whatever you think he's doing, he's doing.
Wow.
Okay.
He must be conjuring devils.
The guy that went in, I want to tag him a bit and search for him after he steps down. Wait for him.
Okay, he wanders back into the crowd. His wife is super excited to see him back and walks up to give her a hug, and he just kind of snubs her a little bit, like, yeah, not right now, you know. I want to watch the rest of the show. But he's in the crowd now.
Don't have anything for this. Let's
Make a stealth check, Fargrim.
Oh, I was just gonna be like, stay into the crowd. Well, okay. Because like a customer. Okay, no. Well.
Georgie.
Who's Darius? Somebody else gets in the crystal coffin. Abracadam. And they've disappeared. He goes off and does another trick.
Can I... Is it the stage, yeah? Can you see under it?
You can see under it. It's got two, basically 2x4s supporting a stage that is extending from the wagon. Behind the stage is a curtain that heads into the wagon. So it's an open air stage with basically two 2x4s under it so that it has some support.
Okay, is there, can I go run back to the wagon, check there for any entrances or the windows or something?
Make a perception check.
Perception. I'm not prepared for this. Let's see. Perception is over here.
So you don't immediately see any trap doors, you don't see any trap windows, nothing that looks like it would be moved to hide someone. But then again, it is magic, so...
Yeah, mostly you want to just check for entrances to the vent so you can't see me entering.
Oh, you want to walk into the tent? Yeah, so there's on the other side of the wagon, there's a door, which is kind of the main entrance into the wagon.
Yeah, let's get in there. I'm just
Okay.
gonna step in.
Yeah, it's unlocked. You step in. It's pretty empty inside. He hasn't collected a lot of stuff. There's a stack of books, a chest, a bed, a chair, a table, writing desk, some foodstuffs, basically the stuff you would need to travel. The most interesting thing that you see are the books.
Sure, what type of books are they?
They are magic books.
Magic books. Can I identify what type of magic this is? Transportation or whatever?
Make an Arcana check.
Arcana. I'm not good at that.
So there is definitely, so you would know enough to know that this is arcane magic. It's not, found a quarter behind your ear type stuff. There is arcane knowledge inside the books. But you can't read the spells. They are, as you look at them, shifting under your eyes. Like you stare at a page for long enough and the words seem to move around. The components seem to change in quantity. You just can't make sense of it.
Are they all just stacked on the table, or how much are there?
There's like 3 or 4 books, spell books.
I'm not going to be able to take one without being noticed. Does the card connect directly to the stage? Or...
It does. And he is rolling perception checks.
Excuse me, good sir. I would like to see your certifications for being at this carnival.
Not now, George. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Would you like to get inside the coffin?
I don't think so. That looks very unsafe. I want to see you get inside the coffin.
It's perfectly safe. Look. It's absolutely safe. In fact, here, I'll reappear the person I disappeared earlier. Alakazam. She pops back out. She looks like she's seen a ghost.
Good maiden, are you okay after going through that ride there?
I'm fine. What's it to you?
You sound very grumpy. Are you okay?
Look, I don't know you, bub. Get away from me. Who are you?
You don't know me now, but do you want to know me?
She takes out a dagger and stabs you. Does a 17 hit your armor class?
Well, as she's stabbing me, I'm going to turn my skin to stone, so no.
Is that a reaction?
Then yes.
It's an action, it's not a reaction.
She does 2 points of damage. Get back, creep.
I'm the creep. You're the one who's waving around a dagger. And then I would turn my skin to stone.
Meanwhile, I'm taking the books out back and getting out all 4.
Okay. About that time, George, you would see the squid woman running over to you. Appears this commotion has caused quite a scene, and she shows up and wraps her tentacles around your arms. Would say to you, please stop. We don't want any trouble here. Just could you stop assaulting the ladies?
Assaulting the ladies? She stabbed me for no good reason. There's craziness going on here, I say.
Listen, hoes before bros, you know? I'm sure she had a damn good reason to stab you.
Yeah, that's what they
I think it's best if we just kind of just everybody take a breath. The crowd starts to disperse. And then after the crowd's gone, the Squid Woman would turn to you and say, "Did you find anything? Did you discover anything?"
Am I there yet?
Sure.
I think I created enough of a distraction for you to escape.
Yeah, I've got something. Though we need someone capable of magic to figure out what's in it.
How can you whatever his name is?
Where am I saying? I'm just with you people just now.
Pakali. That's his name. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, we could. Yeah.
Maybe
Let's
Pakali
get
can read him.
Sure. Maybe. All I know is that they're magic. Let's take them over to Pakali.
Okay. You walk back to Pakali's tent, or wagon, and he's still sitting outside. Looks like a group of Georges have gathered around, though. The show has begun, and he's giving his spiel, taking a couple of copper from everybody in the crowd and walking them inside, telling them about the, what was it, Pakali's pickled...
Pickle something.
Punks. Pakali's pickled punks.
Okay. We don't have any spellcasters on our group, do we?
Yeah, no.
I'm a spellcaster.
Oh, he hasn't tried reading the book.
Yeah, sure. And
Okay. Look at the books. What language are they in?
They're arcane. So it's a spell book. Arcana is not a language. It can be read by anybody in any language, so long as you have the requisite skill. You are a sorcerer, correct?
Yes.
These spells are not on your spell list, so make an Arcana check for me.
Alright.
Well, you can sort of begin to decipher at least the types of spells that you're seeing. You wouldn't be able to cast them, but as a spellcaster, it looks like illusion spells. And there's a number of spells in the spell books, from minor illusion to major image.
What seems to be the highest or most complicated spell in the book?
Alright, Sage, I give a look at the book. See if I can decipher anything.
Okay, make an Arcana check. So, it looks like the highest, most complicated spell in this book would be Simulacrum. Or Simulacrum.
Simulacrum. What's that do? What's Simulacrum do?
Yeah,
I don't know. Does anybody know?
Is that a spell? I don't know. Simulacrum?
It's something only
Simulacrum.
How do you spell it?
Why, are you going to look in your spell book? Your PHP?
I was gonna write it in my notes.
I've got it here. You shape an illusionary duplicate of one beast or humanoid that is within range for the entire cast time of the spell. So basically you make a copy of something, an illusionary copy. It's level 7. This guy's fucking dangerous.
I also wonder if the people coming out are actually people. If you can do this.
Yeah,
maybe
it makes duplicates.
Maybe the people are not the actual people, that they're the people of.
He's doing a lot of illusion magic, which I kind of would expect considering he's a showman, but I don't know. This sounds dangerous.
Yes, simulacrum is a high level spell. Simulacrum doesn't transport people out of the box necessarily. We should either take a look at the box. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, we should either take a look at the box to see if that transports people out, or if there's another spell in the spellbook that could transport people out.
I don't think they're being transported out at all. I think he's just making it appear as if they do. Because he's casting a lot of illusions.
True. Though I don't see how the illusions would make the people that went into them any crumplier.
Maybe he's just making an illusion that they're not in the box, but they're in the coffin the entire time. You know what I mean?
Yes. I wonder if he's smuggling them away.
So, Aiden, what's your perception?
My perception, just my passive?
Sure.
50.
15?
Yeah.
You're good then. You would notice the three of the people that he did this transport, whatever magic trick on, are walking out of the carnival together, which is strange because they were clearly in different, pairs at the show.
I notice this now?
Yes, you can see them walking off the edge of the carnival together.
There's people walking out of there that were in the wizard box. Let's follow them.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Let's keep a stealthy distance though. Don't know what kind of shit he's got on them.
Yeah, it looks like they're walking into town, into Rithman, and they take a couple of turns down side streets, and eventually they arrive at the Mages College. Now, these are 3 commoners. You would know that the Mages College is essentially locked down to non-magic users. You don't go in. But the woman who stabbed George walks up to the front door and opens it. And then the 3 walk in.
Want to follow them in, guys?
Can we even?
Don't you just walk up and open the door?
No.
Give it a go.
You have to be a magic wielder, right? One of us was a magic wielder.
So the magic user could get in. The rest of you would not be allowed entrance.
I also use magic, though not arcane magic.
The sorcerer would probably not even be able to get in. Wizards can get in. Bards can get in. Sorcerers, druids, clerics, those are different magic types. You wouldn't be allowed inside the school. Wizards and bards is kind of where they draw the line. So I don't know that anybody in your group could get in. But I'll save you the time. You sit there discussing what's going on for about 15 minutes, and all 3 of them walk out again.
Does it look like they're carrying anything?
They don't look like they're carrying anything, no.
Let's keep following them, man. I reckon. See where they go.
Sure.
Looks like they're heading back in the direction of the carnival.
Let's keep following.
I wonder what they do.
I think they will. Or else it might be noticed that they go missing.
I wonder if they transform into other people.
So they're almost back at the carnival now.
I think it would be more worth it to try and get into the Mage College to find out what happens.
Well, we can't get in.
Could we... we've noticed if we follow them. Are there any other entrances? Could we sneak in?
Yeah, you want to die? No, I'm good.
That's a good way to end up in jail.
Yeah.
I wonder where they go at
Looks
the
like
carnival.
they're heading back towards the magician's wagon.
Is there a crowd at the wagon again or no?
It looks like the crowd has passed. They walk into the wagon.
Into the wagon?
Yeah, they open the door and walk in.
Can I listen at the door? See if there's anything here.
Eavesdrop, as you what you saying?
Yeah.
You can make a perception check. You don't hear anything. No talking. You're quite certain there's no talking.
Can I take a look at the back door?
Sound like they're in there?
You don't really hear anything from inside.
I'll try and open the door a little bit. Have a little look inside. Stealth it up.
It appears empty.
Oh.
Completely empty?
Well, there's nobody inside. It's about this time your ears would perk up and you would hear shouting coming from Isolde's tent. From wagon. I don't know why I keep saying tent. She doesn't have a tent. She's got a wagon. But you hear the magician shouting at her about some thief George took my spell books. How am I supposed to be able to perform now? You gotta lock down this freak show you got going on, or I'm out of here. I swear, I'll be out of here. Do you know the value of those spell books? And he goes on and on and on.
Maybe who has the spell book should just put them back.
Do we want to know?
No, you go for broke. You keep stealing more since he's gone.
I mean, if he's out of here, good. Still want to figure out what he does without his people, though.
I mean, while he's distracted, I'd like to have a little look around, see if there's any passageways or anything that these guys could have gone to.
Maybe somebody should go inside the giant crystal.
This is a wagon. And by the way, the stage is still out there. The coffin is still out there. It looks like he went back inside, saw his spell books were missing, and then immediately beelined for Isolde's wagon.
Can I take a look inside the coffin?
Yeah, while you look in the wagon, I want to look at the coffin too.
Okay. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for hidden switches or compartments, like where they might drop out underneath or something.
I'll look for magic.
Okay. That would be a investigation check for compartments and a arcana check for magic.
I don't know if there's anything. Roll the 1.
It looks to be just a regular crystal coffin.
Looks like a regular crystal coffin. It's fine.
I suspect a scam.
What happens when you put the book inside the crystal coffin?
Book, I'd rather get something less valuable.
I mean, say the magic words and see what happens. Or
Yeah, wait.
you know what I mean?
Sure. That's. Oh, I still have 5 javelins. No, I don't use javelins anymore. Let's throw a javelin in there. I guess.
Jesus.
Just put a javelin in there, close, and speak the magic words.
What are the magic words?
Alakazam.
Abracadabra, Alakazam.
I was gonna say, please,
Close
God,
enough.
please make it work.
The javelin disappears.
Okay. Open coffin, close it again. Magic words again. Abracadabra, Alakazam.
Nothing happens.
I think this is a one-way coffin. Also, where are those 3 people that walked into his wagon go?
Bro, I'm telling you, this coffin eats people, bro. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, bro. They transport him somewhere, and then he does the spell to replace him or something like that, bro. I'm telling you, this coffin's suspect. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the one-stop shop. You know what I mean?
Well, why don't we just go with your idea and sabotage him completely? Put his book in the coffin and transport it away.
He might just be able to transport them back though.
Unless the other thing on the other side of the transport thing is something not good. It just fuck shit up, you know?
I mean, if we really want to fucking up, the coffin's made of crystal, we can break it. But that'd be a little bit obvious, so... And we still got a lot of people to save inside the coffin, maybe?
Maybe we could
I'd rather not.
Maybe we could fuck with the stage, like the 2x4 or something like that. So, like, the next time somebody goes into the coffin, the stage just collapses or something.
Might put people's lives at risk.
Yeah, let's not put more people.
I mean, it's not like a 20-foot drop. It's only like a couple. Right?
Whatever we do, we better do it fast.
I'm more worried about the people that went into the coffin. They might still be able to be saved.
The thing is, we don't know where to go.
Exactly.
Maybe we should just give the information to the Grid woman lady.
Might not be a bad idea.
I mean, she's kind of like an enforcer, you know what I mean? Like, she's kind of beefy, you know what I'm saying?
Still, she's also a succubus, probably. So
What,
would she
Squid
really
Lady?
care?
Oh,
No, not Squid
oh
Lady,
shit,
other.
he's coming back.
Quick, guys, let's get out of here.
Yeah. Makes it.
We could try to have him not see us.
I'm gonna hide under the stage.
Oh, so you're staying there, not like trying to leave.
Yeah, I'm running out.
I already left. I'm already making my way to like the bar.
I'm leaving.
I'm
I'm
gonna,
out,
me.
bro.
Just gonna hide under the stage.
Okay, make a stealth check. Okay, you think you're pretty stealthy. Everybody else left? I'll assume everybody else left. And Rat's hiding under the stage.
Yep.
We took the book with us.
Correct.
Do I hear anything? Are they back?
Well, no, there's nobody inside the wagon. He walks up, you're hidden. He gets inside the wagon, and he's just cursing up a storm. But then he stops.
We're not there, right? So we can't know this.
Yeah, just go ahead. Ooh, I should get my mouse out of my pocket. My little pet mouse. Let's get to go have a look to see if that magician's out there. Right, look.
Can you see through the eyes of your mouse? Is that what you're saying?
I can't do that, but the mouse can vaguely tell me if it's if he's in there or not.
Okay. Yeah, so the easiest way, like right above the stage, is the curtain. Just put him on the ledge. He'll scurry inside, and what is this, like a telepathic connection?
No, it's like a small animals as a forest gnome.
You have speak with animals.
Speak with small beasts.
Okay, gotcha. The mouse would scurry in, scurry back out as you requested, and he'd give you a couple of words. Ooh, shiny.
Okay. How? Go take the shiny.
Actually, you'd say can't.
Too big?
Yes.
Bigger than me?
Yes.
I'll be talking about that crystal coffin.
The crystal coffin's outside. He would say, cupped carefully in his palm is a tiny light.
Strange. Alright, well, that's enough information I think we're going to gather here. We're going to go off and find where the rest of the guys went.
Your mouse is actually a poet. He would say, blind to imperfections, blind to imperfections, eyes feign concentration, thoughts wander, but only to ponder possibilities that arise. The love in disguise, blatantly obvious to the envious. Embraces tighten, emotions heighten, white light shines in perfect lines. Shuttered streams cross in beams, latticed like lace across his face.
Wow, Gareth, that was beautiful. I'm gonna go recite that to.
He says, I am. He says, yeah, the last time I got caught in a trap, it introduced me to slam poetry.
I'd like to run a tech roll on the DM.
Wait, is the mouse gonna do a performance roll for that?
You got a 20. I rolled it for him.
Nice. Good crit, mouse. Good crit.
Good work. I'll put the mouse back in there. in a pouch. Get out of there.
Okay. Yeah, you disappear into the crowd and rejoin your friends.
Something about a light. It's a big shiny light inside the place. He went there, he was all loud, he was shouting about his book being missing, and then sent my mouse to go look, and he came back with some transcendent stuff. I have no idea. Scene. Ask the mouse to repeat it to me, and then tell the group that the whole slam poetry. What do you guys think of that?
It's crazy, bro.
Did you make that up?
Well, I didn't make it up. The mouse made it up.
You know what? I don't think you could make it up. I believe you.
But do you believe his mouse?
I can vouch for. I trust him with my life.
Okay. I trust that call. But still, that's a mouthful. I mean, the easiest way to find out instead of pondering if this poem is going there and looking at it ourselves.
Well, I didn't want to go on my own. I mean, I don't know anything about magic or anything.
We'll send our magic guy in. It's fine.
I kind of just like feel my way through magic and do what feels right.
Well, magic is done. I'm obviously the expert. Should we go? Should we have a look?
Yeah, seems like it. Seems like a best option.
Well, we ain't gonna do anything standing around here, so we might as well check it out. Either that, we gotta talk to squid ladies about the book and what's going on with the college.
Let's try to find out a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at her and you just don't look at the left side and the right side, but just the center, she's not half bad looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mouse is already trying to spitball some new lines, and he's saying stuff like, Lucy was in the sky, but that's as far as he's gotten.
With diamonds?
Lucia was in the sky?
That's as far as he's gotten. He's a mouse. You expect too much of him.
Okay. What's the wizard's name? What's the wizard's name, actually? Anyone know?
Jack.
Jack. It's not Lucio.
Let's go to his. Let's go to. Hang on. Were any of you carrying those stolen books?
I think.
I'm gonna keep on you if we go to talk to this guy, or at least look for him. Is there something we wanna somewhere and before we go back? So you haven't got the.
Why don't we go talk to the lady and give them to her for safety?
This might get her in trouble.
I don't think you can magically detect those books, right?
I don't know nothing.
So what's your current working theory?
What about the coffin?
Yes.
Right. As far as I've got, he teleports the people out of the coffin, uses simulacrum to place a copy of the person in the coffin, and then simulacrum goes somewhere and does something.
I think the simulacrums like secretly like run away from the people they're with before their like duration ends or something, so that like the ruse doesn't get spoiled.
I mean, is it an actual kind of clone copy? Like, are they physical? If it's a simulacrum?
An illusionary duplicate is partially real and formed from ice or snow.
The magic itself. So how would it get into the magic guild place?
Well, is it not technically alive? Does magic just pass through normally? I mean, they use those spells to talk to each other all the time, don't they?
It's a fair assumption. So if your theory is right, that there's some devious stuff going on with simulacrums, you could go two directions with this. You could join the next performance and try to, teleport yourself to wherever the coffin is taking people. Or, honestly, this is probably a big enough problem that you could go straight to Isolde with it.
I'm not sure if we trust Isolde yet.
I mean, let's go watch another performance and see if, with our new knowledge, if we can figure anything out.
True. And then my vote would be after the performance, send someone in there or something.
I got an idea.
Well, let me correct myself. He can't do another performance. That's what you heard him shouting to Isolde, because he's missing his books. So you will have to find a way to get his books back to him if you want to go the performance route.
Wait, here's the thing. Without his books, he can't do the performance. So we can indirectly just shut him down.
We still want to save some people. My thought would be see where the crystal coffin leads while he's not performing. And then other people go into the caravan and see what's in there, what's up with the mouse.
Well, we could just get someone to teleport us all to where they go, but...
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say put the mouse in the call.
Oh.
But
that's not a bad idea.
Don't you volunteer other people?
I was just thinking of it as a suggestion.
Wait, we could get the mouse to teleport us there, then we're all together to fight whatever on the other side.
Can the mouse teleport us?
I want to trust the mouse.
Exactly.
I don't feel comfortable about separating. We should stick together.
The mouse is totally down with this plan. He thinks he can operate the box. He would propound a poem that reads, flashing rays, thunderous sound, fire encases melting heat, shrapnel, ignominiously, blossom. Dance through innocent flesh that crawls out of one's skin. The roar of the explosion dries every tear. Screams pollute deafening ears. Live audience in an unprecedented death opera.
Well, that definitely sounds like people
Sounds
die.
like people are dying in the coffin.
He thinks you're gonna die.
Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, the coffin sends them somewhere, there's something on the other side that probably kills them or eats them or something.
No. The mouse is an artist. He's just vibing off what you're putting out.
I'm just saying that, but that's what my assumption is, though. Like, the coffin sends them somewhere with something on the other side, and
yeah, that's what I would think.
And they're done. Like, they don't come back. Like, they're donezo. Like, they're like not coming back. Like, they're done. Like, not like Dunzo. Like, Nada, Zilch, Zippo.
But if there's something on the other side, we can do something about it. I mean, we The only thing we'd be missing is the way back.
I mean, up to now, as far as any
maybe we get ask
ideas,
Zola to go into the coffin. Who knows?
How do we get Zola to do that?
Maybe it would be like, yo, we just need a help, bro. Like, I'm just throwing out ideas, you know.
There's a snack inside of the coffin. Go get it.
Squid Lady can maybe go to the other side.
Doesn't sound like a good idea either.
again, we would have no way of knowing if she's alright on the other side, if there is another side.
Oh, but she's a fighter, though. Like, that's what she's though. She's a fighter. I'm sure she could hold up on her own.
Could we put the wizard, like the guy himself, into the coffin? He doesn't know we stole the books yet.
Well, we're just gonna lift him up and throw his ass in there.
Yeah, we could just push him in there. Look, there's something inside of the coffin. Maybe it's your books. I'll push him in there. Get him out of here. And if it's something that kills him...
Oh, you know what we could do? We could throw the books in the coffin and be like, yo, we found your books, are in the coffin. And then when he goes grabs his books, we could push him in, and then we lock his ass in, and then we say the magic words, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, something like that. And you wouldn't have enough
I got a voice for the mouse now.
Oh no.
If my life's freedom dies, what shall remain in my heart? Not the sighs of loss, but the illumining surrender tears of my gratitude soul.
Still sounds like people dying to me.
Honestly, it sounds like the mouse is high at this point. I don't even know what he's talking about.
Alright, what do you want to do?
I kind of like the idea of pushing the sorcerer in. So let's not give him all of his spell books back. Let's give him like 2 or 4 back.
Anybody knows anyone can cast minor illusion spells or no?
I can.
Sure. Then we keep the minor illusion books and then we throw him in with the high level shit.
I mean, put any books in there, and I could cast minor illusion as though there are books in there. Then we get to keep all the books. And
Exactly.
still have
Exactly,
the desired
bro.
effect.
Exactly.
I like that idea a lot more, yeah.
So,
Want to go for that? Push him in there?
anyone want to?
Let me get this straight. This group of level 1 adventurers is planning on pushing a 15th level mage somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey!
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So long as we're all on the same page.
Nope, not anymore,
Yeah.
not anymore. Nope, you just metagame. Nope.
No, we already know we can cast 7th level spells. We already knew this. Simulacra is a 7th level spell.
Yeah, we'd have to literally be able to kill him without him reacting. So we'd have to be able to push him and activate the coffin before he could do anything.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. If we all work together, like one can say the words, one can push him in, and one can close the coffin.
Bro, he's just gonna miss these stuff. I already see it coming. He's just gonna miss these stuff. He's gonna miss these stuff the fuck out of the way. I already see it coming. I already see how the situation's drawn. I already see it. No, I'm not gonna be part of this little plan now. It's gonna go horribly wrong. I already know what. I already see Sage smiling and stuff. I already know. He's gonna be like, yeah.
I'm not smiling.
You're like, he's probably. I know what he's thinking. He's like, yeah, we do what the Cinder does. Hit him with the misty step. Oh my god.
I should have said nothing. This was a great plan.
I already have a situation drawn. I already see it.
It's honestly just like 1 5th level magic missile to all of you.
We could stop him from casting spells.
I mean, he can't. He can't. He doesn't have the books, so he can't do the spells.
If we no, we have to make sure he uses his spells before we actually do something. Because he might have Misty Step prepared. I wouldn't guess so.
Oh, I'm not gonna join the pushing into the coffin thing anymore. No, Misty
Okay.
Steps. No, this is making me metagame in my mind. I gotta stop. I'm just gonna be like, after realizing how powerful this mage is, I'm just gonna step aside and be like, we should take another alternative route.
The other route is we get one of our own in, or we see what's in his house.
How about you make him unconscious first with like some sleeping poison?
I've got no sleeping poison at all. I've got Entangle.
Sage, I'm just gonna go.
No, not spell. Like a poison. Like we slip it to him.
Sage, I'm just gonna go to the bar.
We give him roofies? Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, we like give him some like what do people use? Chloroform. We make him accidentally drink chloroform. He falls asleep, so he can't do anything, and we put him in the.
Bro, it's not gonna work, bro. It's not.
That's a terrible idea.
How do you even know this guy's a bad guy?
The mouse is spurting things about death.
Bro, he's shady though. Like something's up. We don't know he's bad, but he's shady. Like people like changing, bro. Like he does illusion spells, so something's shady. Like just shady, bro. Like we.
Because the girl asked him for help and said that this guy was evil.
She didn't even say evil.
That's what he heard.
No. Who said who's evil?
Oh, she may not have said those words exactly. That's what you heard in his mind.
Yeah, no one said nobody's evil.
I mean, well, she just wanted to know kind of what was going on.
No, she just wanted to know like what's going on, you know, like
let's go back and tell her.
Yeah, the objective was to find out what's going on, like with the trick and stuff like that, and we pretty much have a lot of information regarding it.
Yeah, do that. Give her the books, maybe, although they might put her in danger.
Though we still don't know what happens to the.
Then again, she was a former spy of the king, so take care of herself.
Yeah.
Well, don't say you read the books, but don't reveal them.
What?
Say you figured out what the spells are he's casting, but just don't reveal that you have his book with you.
Bro, why would he tell me? Why would you tell him that you? Oh, I read your books. Why would you tell someone that's looking for their books that you read their book?
No, you figured out what the spells that he was casting were.
And then
like what?
Shoot with a 5th level magic missile.
No, I'm saying we don't talk to this magic man.
Yeah.
We go back to Tenera, and we know.
I still think we need to figure out what happens to the people that go in there.
Yeah, but we gotta let the lady know first. Good lady.
Yeah, she might. She knows kind of what's going on around
like
here.
as far as we know right now, his show's on hold, so nobody's going in the club. So that's a good thing.
True. Yeah, sure. Let's go to the lady then.
We gotta do this step by step. So we stop the show. That's a good thing. And we gotta take this bit by bit before we think of a plan or a POA. You know what I mean? So let's go back to the lady, Squid Lady.
Sure. Sounds good. Back to Squid Lady it is.
And we go there.
Yep.
Monstrosity dwells in his mentality. He creeps in the shadows and soothes those who wield a mace of malice. A monstrosity who consumes all love and binges it into the mouth of the languished and beat. He is a despicable beast. He is a monstrosity. He is butchered and petrifying. He is held back from society to evade stares that are engulfed in black fear. Monstrosity seeps out of his flesh, and his breath reeks survival. A monstrosity who is not allowed to be seen, because in our world, he is the monstrosity, the beast. But in my starry eyes and my ignorant mind, he is just like me, an animal, a beast. He is my friend, my everything.
Okay, I'm not going to tell anyone about what you've just said there, Gareth. Yeah. That's... go full of yourself.
So you head back to the Squid Woman's, well, technically to Pakali's tent setup, the Hall of Horrors, and inside, it looks like the doorway's clear. There's not really a group here now. You can walk inside, and the show's over. The Squid Woman's standing there counting her coppers. She's leaning up against the fat of the what was it? The gigantuan?
Gargantuan, yeah.
Gargantuan.
Yep.
And he's whispering sweet nothings in her ear.
Russell.
As you walk in, she steps away and greets you, waving a tentacly arm.
Who wants to do the talking here?
For time's sake, can we just explain the situation to her? What we found out thus far?
Sure. And all your suspicions. And she would say, so you suspect that there's magic in the coffin that's sending people somewhere else, and he's creating a simulacrum. Simulacrum. That's a great theory, but how are you going to prove it?
How do we kill simulacrums? Oh, no, wait. They're not simulacrums. You can only have one simulacrum at the same time. If you cast a spell again, any currently active duplicates you have created with the spell are instantly destroyed.
I mean, it's entirely possible that someone is merely pretending to be them, illusioning themselves from wherever the people are going. It's the illusion of them. Then again, it's all theory.
So you think they're just illusions, not real? Then you should be able to...
But they're not. They're just pretending to be the people who...
Bro, they're not themselves, like, after they're the trick, like they lose something, you know, lose part of them. Something great.
How are you going to prove it, though?
That is the question.
How do you drop an illusion of someone? It's probably not a perfect illusion.
You can drop an illusion simply by interacting with the creature, by trying to push it. That would cause an illusion to become apparent.
How about interact with them by getting stabbed? Work?
No, because if you were convinced that the illusion was real, the stab would hurt. That's the way it works.
Would the stab wound still be there?
Yes, of course. It's a psychic damage type. Mystics do it all the time.
There's no show anymore, so we can't test this theory.
Although, in order for the show to start up again, he would need his
spellbook. Yeah. Though I kind of don't want to give them back to him.
Tenera, do you know of anyone who's kind of like friendly with him, but that you would trust?
He's just got here. Nobody knows him.
Comfortable taking these books and hey, I found these. I think they're yours.
Raises a little bit of suspicion. I'd rather not pop our heads up now. He doesn't know us yet. I say I'd rather go try into the wagon again, because if the rat saw something that I didn't, then that's something worth investigating.
Sure.
Though we need to be able to time it so the wizard's not in there while we check it out.
Well, he's not in there now. You see him wandering around the carnival, accosting Georges, asking to search their possessions.
I swear, I didn't do anything. I don't have anything on me.
Sure. Let's try and slip past him then. Let's get to this wagon. Let's get us some more investigation time.
You know, officer, if you're gonna put your hand down there, you better buy me a drink first.
I don't think he's searching.
What's this, sir? That's my penis.
No, I'm pretending to be accosted by one of the people. You did say you were accosting Georges.
He hasn't made it to your specific group yet. You're welcome to go stand in his way so that he'll accost you next, if that's what you're into. I mean, to each their own, right? Whatever gets you off.
I think we should probably start moving away from him and towards his wagon.
Yeah, I'd like that. Get some more investigation time.
Okay, you head across the carnival to his wagon, and you hide behind it.
I mean, I'd like to peek in. Not
Okay.
enter immediately, but peek in, yeah.
You peek in. It's empty inside, except for the aforementioned personal possessions.
There's something shiny there. Can I just investigate for any secret compartments inside?
You certainly can. Make an investigation check. No, you're not able to find any secret compartments. You check all the usual spots, under the mattress, in the nightstand, on the desk. Nothing really stands out to you as particularly shiny. Nothing so shiny as to cause a mouse to write slam poetry.
That's really shiny for that. When I'm out, I'm not sure what to do here. Are there any notes on the table beside the books I took?
Yes.
What's on them? Slam poetry by
There
any
are.
chance?
There are letters containing slam poetry.
Familiar slam poetry by any chance?
No. I don't know. Let's see. I was within a darkened chamber full of children small. Upon my knees I felt him clamber, one of the least of all, answering my call. Quaint figure, battle, bark, snow mountain, the lantern wizardry, arouse joy's hidden silver fountain, to pretty wondering glee, plashing full merrily. It's not nearly as good as the mouse's.
Oh god, this wizard is a nerd. The mouse is cool though.
Exactly, if the wizard is a nerd, then what's the goddamn mouse? No, is there any notes besides slam poetry? Anything useful?
I mean, I've been spending all session writing slam poetry for you. I'm not going to invent a note.
Okay.
The guy's a traveling magician. I mean, there's notes from family and friends.
Okay, nothing interesting.
Let's say he's composing something about this twisting he's heard of, and the effect that it's given him is, it appears to make him, like he's noticed that, how to describe this, his tricks are working better. That is to say, in the past, the coffin has, just been a simple magic trick. He would be writing about how, there's nothing special about the coffin, but once I got here, I started being able to control it, to make it do my bidding. Sounds pretty crazy, some of the stuff he's saying. Like, the coffin seems to have a mind of its own, but it listens to me.
I told you, bro. I told you guys. I called. I was like, this coffin's motherfucking loud. This coffin possessed. It's like a devouring coffin. It's like a devouring bag, but just a coffin.
Okay, so we're gonna leave the books here and wait for him to find them, or what? What's the plan here?
Yeah, what's the plan?
Well, the coffin's eating people. We have to destroy it.
We don't know if the coffin's eating people. It could be a gateway as well.
You said it didn't start changing until I got here. Does that mean it was affected by the twisting thing?
You would know that all creatures, human, animal, or other, are affected by the twisting.
So, in other words, the coffin is a creature.
Wait, it's not one of those treasure box morphine monster things.
Mimic. I don't think it's a mimic. Mimics can't be controlled. But if it's affected by the twisting, then it should be a creature.
Yeah, so it is a creature.
Or at the very least, sentient.
Yeah, I was thinking.
If you were to believe what's in his letter here, which, by the way, helps you build a case to Isolde if you'd like to just hand all this stuff over to her.
I mean, it's very likely that Isolde is aware of.
That's a good idea, though. She good people, though. She helped a lady from a mob.
So, if we, did something a creature wouldn't like, but a crystal coffin would be okay with?
It's like a higher being's trying to talk to us and make me try to, solve this by the end of the session.
I'm just trying to wrap it up in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe we could take the letters to Isolde. I'll be like, yo, this guy's motherfucking crazy. Yo, you gotta do something like straight up. Or we could take it back to Squidward Woman.
Or we hit the coffin with a fireball to see if it does anything.
I think destruction of property is going to be a good move here.
Yeah, that's not going to put us in a good light.
Yeah, if we can.
Alright, here's the plan.
Everything else goes to Isolde.
Take the letters. Take the letters. Go to the Squid Lady, then go to Isolde. I don't know if I can help.
Yeah.
Because I want to follow the objective. Because we got to tell her what the coffin's been doing and shit.
Squid Lady's not going to be able to help you at this point.
Alright. So then we gotta
straight
go to
to Zelda.
Okay.
Sure, you know.
So Isolde answers when you knock. What do you say to her?
Good afternoon.
There's something going out of hand at your at one of the stands. One of your patrons or one of your events has been kidnapping.
Yeah. God has led me on a journey, and upon this journey, I found something that needed to seek a higher being's attention. And since you're in charge of this establishment, I think that's you. So, yeah. Apparently, there's things that are coming alive, and strange things are happening. Other than the usual.
Basically,
Yes.
we require your aid.
What proof do you have?
Well, we have these letters written by the one accused, the one that's in question, about things coming alive, things he's being thrown to his bidding, and yeah, stuff like that.
Your wizard Jack's been kind of kidnapping people, altering them. And it's not the twisting that's been doing it, it's perfectly him or Scoffin that's been twisting people and at least making them act grumpier, meaner than usual. These notes are about this wizard Jack talking to his coffin and saying stuff like that eats him and more. And the notes.
So exactly what are you accusing Jack of?
Kidnapping George's?
How?
I believe his chest has become magic.
His coffin's become magic, and he's telling it to do its bidding. As per se in his notes, that he exactly says that he's telling his coffin to do his bidding. So.
Well, of course his coffin is magic. That's his act. No George has been reported kidnapped. What proof do you have of this?
It's ominously magic. It takes. There's the Georges that have entered there. They went from there after the set. They went. All the Georges that happened to go into the coffin together went to the Mage's College, went back, and entered his cart, never coming back.
What proof do you have of this? How do you know they went to the Mage College other than your claims?
There's people there. There's people on the streets that must have seen it.
That dude's wife. Should have
Yeah.
had her.
Maybe we should ask about the people's wives and stuff, if, you know, if they're even at home or if they're even, you know, normal, like things. Like,
Perhaps you should. And she slams the door.
That went well.
I'm humble under my breath and celestial. Humble, humble, humble.
Shit, so we gotta gather everyone.
See, you got two options. You could investigate the homes of these individuals to see what happened to them, if they're there, if they've been missing. Clearly, they haven't been reported missing, so they showed back up at home. You could look in on that, or you could figure out the shiny. Whatever that shiny thing was, which was a diamond, which you can assume he stole from the Mages College.
Yeah, the diamonds. There's a diamond, right?
It's probably on him, though, that's the thing.
A diamond. Can we check the spellbook for anything that requires a diamond?
Nobody can really read the spellbook to that extent.
Oh, shit.
Can we find somebody?
Diamonds all
Seems to me you got two paths. You can either pickpocket him for the diamond, attack him for the diamond, or go around to these people's houses and see what happened to them.
Yeah, let's go to people's houses.
Anyone good at pickpocketing?
I'm not bad at pickpocketing.
I mean, that's the dangerous route, though. The quickest, but the most dangerous.
You've got 14 minutes to decide.
Let's see you pickpocket them. I'm up for it.
We're gonna be able to pickpocket them? We can try.
Watch my back, guys.
I'm gonna make a performance of slam poetry to gather all the Georges.
Well, let's try and
And I wrote,
distracted searching somebody else.
and I wrote a slam poem just for the part.
Okay, perform your slam poem.
It's called Strength. How could another's opinion weaken me? Turn me to a victim of indecency? Or make me feel less of a man? Like I've been stripped of my dignity? How can they be right if I'm not wrong? Moreover, how can I stay strong when I've been tormented for so long? Suppressed by a substance song. If life is a two-way street, then who do I prolong on this one way to a dead end? No one to trust as a friend, who won't condescend on me as I descend to my world of pretend, a haven where I refuse to mend, yet still comprehend the vibe others send. Now, if this was a little off track, I just want to bring it back. Cause a little while ago, I felt under attack. Belittled, small, like I could slip through a crack. I had to hold back when I caught a verbal smack. And I was hurt. These eyes fought tears as I recalled old fears. From past years, for a moment, I couldn't see clear. Pioneer, a thought that might preserve my conscience. Commandeer my welfare, the insecurities I hold dear. See, I'm here in this land of opportunity, and if I'm weak, then others are ruining me in my own community where I deserve immunity. From these one-sided, closed-minded opinions, divided and misguided decisions.
How long is this?
Decided dominion. Don't come in strutting like you're the kingsman. There's a war being fought. Deadly weapons, the devil bought. Could have me distraught, but I bought up in time. To go head onto into battle. Rounding up the cattle, up the baby rack. Up the creek without a paddle.
Okay, that's enough. At some point, you've got to stop.
I was almost done. I had a couple.
Fine.
Does that give him advantage on the performance check?
No performance check needed. It was a great performance. I didn't fall asleep once.
Wow.
So a group of Georges has gathered around to listen to this, entranced.
Any wizards?
You don't see him. Give me a perception check.
Oh yeah, by the way, I went over to yell out about all the cool slam poetry going down near him.
So you would see the wizard standing at the back, just kind of peering around the crowd, looking for probably bulky items. He's definitely scoping out this crowd of people you've summoned.
Who's gonna be a pickpocket again?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay, I hint him and point towards the wizard.
So we'll assume that the poetry reading is still going on while this happens.
Yeah. And try and find this diamond in his pockets.
Give me that sleight of hand check. Thief! Thief!
Oh, we didn't give him advantage? Damn.
Is he not paying attention to looking for people?
I was very specific that he was not super, like he was being very perceptive.
I'm gonna book it. I'm out there. I'm running.
He pops you with a magic missile for 12 points of damage. It's at this point that Isolde emerges from her tent, hearing the commotion. And in an instant, she's standing between you and the wizard. Thief, she says. And what was he meant to steal from you?
I have.
You, by the way, you do have the diamond.
Ah, shitbox.
Show it her.
Hand the diamond into someone else's pocket.
No, show it her. The diamond, it's the key.
I would say something like, "It can't be yours. Well, you stolen from you know."
This is what was taken from the mage's place. He's the thief. I was trying to return it for them. This is what we came to you about earlier.
She takes it from you. She draws her sword and points it at you. A long, thin, silver blade. She walks past you and towards the wizard's wagon. She stands in front of the crystal coffin and drives the sword through it. It explodes in a rain of showering light, sparkles landing all around you. And where it once stood, a half dozen people. She spins back around. You spin back around, and the wizard is nowhere to be seen.
I should have entangled him. Shit. Can we see?
Dang it, I was right from the very beginning. Destroying the coffin was the thing to do.
He's nowhere to be seen anymore. He's just out of there.
He is gone. Wizards don't stay around to watch their plans come unraveled. But he's without his spell books, without his coffin, and without any friends at the carnival. So I would say you successfully completed the objective of the day. I can award a point for backstory to Fargrim for doing the poetry, to George for all the talk about farming and farm implements and being named George, and to Rat for having a rat. Aiden, we didn't get any backstory out of you today, so you'll only get 2 points of experience. Everybody else will get 3.
Yay.
By the way, I also give these books. Give those to who was our sorcerer?
George. I'm the sorcerer.
I will give them to you, because you will get a lot more use out of them than me.
Alright. What do I use them for?
No idea, it's filled with illusion spells.
You know what? They might be fun to read.
Alright, well thanks everybody for coming out. This is our first Wednesday night game, so lots of new faces here, and we'll probably keep having new faces on Wednesday night. It doesn't fit a lot of our regular schedules, so if you guys show up every week, I'm sure there'll still be a spot open for you.
The
cool.
voting.
Right. So there is a 4th experience point that will go out based on a vote on Discord. You're all able to vote for this person, as is anyone who's watching on Twitch. The vote is for, I guess you could call it most valuable player, but really it's just your favorite character. That vote is up in Discord now. Oh wait.
There was an air creating trouble.
Maybe not. God damn it. Fuck you, Tatsumaki.
Manual trouble.
Yeah.
What is this? Did you stop?
So then I'm at 2 experience points then, correct?
Everybody but Aiden. Aiden is at 3, so 2 for Aiden, 3 for Rat, 3 for Fargrim, 3 for George.
Oh, sweet.
And
3.
it looks like Rat's gonna pick up the vote unless that changes.
I hope so. I voted for him. Long live El Presidente de Rat!
Congratulations, Rantoodle Felchnot, for yeah, excellent slam poetry. Surely that won you the day.
Yeah, having the mouse definitely helped.
All right, so you'll pick up an extra experience point. That'll give you 4. That'll mean you'll be level 2 next session. Everybody else will be level 1 still, except Fargrim. I think he's leveled up as well.
Yeah, leveled up to level 2.
Cool. Well, if you guys have any questions, I'll be sticking around for a little while longer.